Welcome back to Northwest News. In this week's edition, we look at what the Student Activities Council has planned for Valentine's Day, an award-winning journalist that visited Northwest, and coverage over the campus DEI protest. You're watching Northwest News.
Thanks for tuning in to Northwest News, the show where we provide the latest coverage on the Northwest campus and in the Maryville community. I'm Wiley Ray.
And I'm Skyler Stamps. Before we get into this week's episode, be sure to hit that notification bell for the latest news coverage as well as other KNWT content.
Justin, students gathered on the Northwest campus to protest the university dissolving the DEI program.
On Monday, University President Lance Tatum sent out an email only to faculty and staff addressing changes such as reconstructing academic departments and dissolving the university's Office of Diversity and Inclusion.
In the email, Tatum stated our focus at Northwest is now and will always be on our student success. But as our higher education evolves, we must also evolve so our students have every opportunity to realize their dreams.
Since the dissolvement of the DEI department, students took to social media organizing a protest in front of the administration building Friday and Saturday afternoon. However, Northwest isn't the first university in Missouri to remove their DEI program.
On August 15th, Mizzou announced its removal of its DEI program, and Missouri State University late last month announced that they would also be dissolving their DEI program effective immediately.
Be sure to tune in next week here as we will have more coverage and information of the dissolvement of Northwest DEI program.
In lighter news, this past week, Campus Rec kicked off the month with a tournament for students to participate in over at the Hughes Fieldhouse.
Northwest News' Micah Stolley has more on this tournament.
The event was hosted by Campus Recreation, allowing fraternities to battle head-to-head in a kickball tournament. The 5 fraternities faced off in the tournament with the sororities playing earlier. The kickball tournament offered fraternities and sororities a chance to earn points for their group by creating a team, attending a meeting, and depending on how well they do in the tournament. These points can create an incentive for fraternities and sororities to play in intramurals and do their best. At the end, though, it was Pike A that ended up winning the tournament in a final game against Sig Ep Bones. Even despite the tough competition, the games brought the fraternities together. Campus Recreation officials agree that kickball has a way of bringing people together.
I love kickball just because it's a game that anybody can play. It's so diverse. It gives other opportunities for other people to play. It's a low contact impact sport. It's one of America's pastimes. And it's fun.
The intramural events help create a way for students to be involved on campus through friendly competitions and a variety of sports throughout the year. Fraternity and sorority life and campus recreation have been forming a bond as they have been working to create fun and entertaining games for spectators and participants alike. Hughes Fieldhouse has been a great help in planning these events with a wide array of space that allow for many different organizations to hold any kind of event they can think of. Next intramural planned for campus recreation is Ultimate Frisbee, where teams registered by February 9th on IM Leagues will play against each other at the Hughes Fieldhouse at 7:30 on February 11th. Reporting for Northwest News, I'm Micah Stolley.
What a great way to bring multiple organizations together.
Also this past week, Northwest had an award-winning journalist and best-selling author visit Northwest to discuss the topics of religion, politics, and culture.
When we return, reporter Reece Hill tells us more. You're watching Northwest News.
Kirsten, what are you doing here?
What do you think I'm doing here? Making TikToks? And it's not about what I do. It's about what we do here. So we start with storyboarding the content we want to create for our clients. It could be anyone from small businesses, nonprofits, and organizations both on campus and in the Maryville community. We write, we film, we edit, we create, and then we wait. So if you're someone who thinks you need us, we are KNWT Creative Services.
A layup off the left side, but he gets the ball right back as he'll take it down the lane left, up with a shot off the glass and good.
This is why we watch. Every moment, every play, something special awaits. It's not just the victories that make sports special. It's the struggle, the grind, the setbacks, and the comebacks. In Season 76, the crew at Bearcat Update aims to once again capture that magic. Capture the latest moments with us every Sunday at 2.
Thank you for sticking with us and welcome back to Northwest News. Last week, a guest speaker visited Northwest to speak to students and community members about the crisis of American Christianity. Northwest News reporter Reece has more on how the lecture went.
It was standing room only Tuesday evening as students, professors, and community members flocked to the Northwest campus for this year's annual Lemon Lecture. The evening's featured speaker was Tim Alberta. Alberta is a Michigan native and award-winning journalist who writes for The Atlantic. Alberta is also the author of the books American Carnage and The Kingdom, the Power, and the Glory. Alberta's presentation started earlier in the day with an open Q&A session held in Colden Hall. The evening portion of the lecture, which went nearly 2 hours in length, was titled The Crisis of American Christianity. In it, Alberta, who is himself a Christian, focused mainly on how members of the modern evangelical movement have failed to live according to the teachings of Jesus Christ. For the stories that matter to you, I'm Reece Hill, reporting for Northwest News.
Looks like it was a great turnout from the campus and community.
Funding support for the Lemon Lecture series is provided through the generosity of Beatrice E. Hansen, who graduated from Northwest in 1936. The program is named in honor of James H. Lemon.
Happening in the Student Union last week, the Student Activities Council put together a unique and fun way to spread love around campus in honor of Valentine's Day.
Northwest News reporter Zac Scott tells us more about how students can send a special message to their special someone.
Northwest is embracing Valentine's Day at the Student Union as the Student Activities Council hosts their latest event with the FlowerGrams. Students in the union can pass by the front desk and scan the QR code to fill out a form and earn 3 free FlowerGrams where they can write anything to anyone. The Student Activities Council aims to make college life less stressful for all students, including SAC grad student Carter Stantle, who worked the event all 3 days to make sure students have a chance to be a part of university events.
My favorite part of the event is just seeing everybody coming to the union and just putting on these events just creates like a stress-free environment. You know, school can get really busy. People can, you know, have a whole different mix of emotions, but when we come through, we try to be welcoming and warm with a smile on our face and just create a better environment for all our students.
As the FlowerGram orders closed last Friday, over 300 FlowerGrams are to be claimed by Northwest students who were chosen by their peers. With another event under his belt, co-concert director Ben Bieneman looks to have more events that bring Northwest students together.
Oh, I think it's just really good just to kind of just show love around the campus and create better friendships among students, and either whether they be close or not too close together. I think it's just good to make bonds between students.
If you were selected to be gifted a FlowerGram, you will get a message on your Northwest email. With that, you will be able to pick up your FlowerGram with a random message from February 12th through 14th. The next event to be hosted by SAC will be a lecture with Evan Gambardella on February 27th at 6 p.m. in the Charles Johnson Theater. This has been Zac Scott with Northwest News.
That was a great event hosted in the Student Union, but Wiley, did you happen to get me a FlowerGram?
I happen to not give you one, Skyler, but I can give you a kiss.
Oh, thanks, Wiley. Well, SAC's FlowerGram pickup will be held in the Student Union from February 12th through February 14th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Be sure to check your Northwest email to see if you have received one.
And if you were unable to make it to SAC's Union booth, there are still plenty of Valentine's Day activities coming up this week.
Grab your special someone for a fun and creative evening designing your own personalized coaster.
On February 13th, join Clay Club from 5 to 7 in room 118 in the Fine Arts Building. Registration is recommended and cost is $7. For more information, email vwatkins@nwmissouri.edu.
When we return, we'll check out some highlights from last week's edition of the Missourian with managing editor Hannah Claywell. You're watching Northwest News.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Gen 2, your favorite place for all things gaming and tech related. Oh man, does that say update? I think that says an update. You wanna try it?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. That's right, Gen 2 got an update.
But don't worry, we're still your favorite place for all things gaming and tech related.
The Gen 2.0 update will bring all the latest in gaming and tech news, featuring special guests each episode.
So come check out the Gen 2.0 update when we release Tuesdays at noon.
Welcome back to Northwest News, the place where you can find news and whereabouts on what's happening on the Northwest campus and the Maryville community. Thanks for sticking with us.
Last week, the Northwest Missourian included taking a look at a former Associate Professor Catherine Cat Bilbo's life and coverage on the struggles of international students on campus.
Managing editor of the Northwest Missourian, Hannah Claywell, tells us more.
Thanks, Skyler and Wiley. In this week's issue of the Missourian, we will take a look at a story written by news editor Dakota Oswalt about a former associate professor, Catherine Cat Bilbo's life, and a story covered by Rhea Salerno over the struggles of international students on campus. Former student Hannah Jahal said, "I think she was like a mom to a lot of people, but for me, she was kind of like a second mother." This is the analogy former student Jahal uses to describe her relationship with Catherine Cat Bilbo. Bilbo was an associate professor and artistic director of theater and performance at Northwest who died December 21st. The cause of her death has not been released. During her college years, Jahal worked with Bilbo on social media and acted as a publicity manager. Bilbo was also Jahal's academic mentor. Bilbo tried to get students out of their comfort zones and urged them to connect with the pieces they performed. Jahal said she didn't come from a background that prepared her for collegiate studies. She said one of her favorite memories with Bilbo was when Bilbo helped her with basic college tools to help her succeed. Jahal credits Bilbo for shaping her as a person. Associate Professor Stephanie Jordanby worked alongside Bilbo in the Department of Fine and Performing Arts. Compassionate is one of the top words she uses to describe Bilbo. If there was a way to say more empathetic than empathetic, that was Kat, said Jordanby. She could go on the journey with anyone's emotions, and she could recognize from across the room who needs some support with something today. Bilbo and Jordanby started working at Northwest at the same time, both celebrating 10 years with the university in December. Kat made a difference for our students in a way that just can't be quantified, said Jordanby. Now on to our second biggest story of the week involving struggles international students face on campus. While Northwest houses over 1,000 international students on campus, some say it just doesn't feel like home. International freshman Amiri Takahashi is from Japan. She said she has a good time on campus, but sometimes students will ignore her when she speaks due to her limited English ability. She said she enjoys the difference in culture. However, because her experience in Japan is different from American expectations, she sometimes struggles to contribute to class discussions. In a Japanese class, if I raise my hand, I'm different, said Takahashi. I have been there for so long, I cannot adjust to the American system. Takahashi said she can answer simple questions most of the time, however, complex questions become difficult for her, which are often the target questions during class. Although her English has improved since she started at Northwest in August, she often finds herself lonely outside of class. Two French students, freshmen Camelia Louise Kerr and Gerard Domps, said they feel the same way. Domps said due to the culture he was raised in, it was a shock that American students are not as interactive with each other outside of class. Since international students can relate to each other about struggling to communicate with other students, Domps said they tend to bond easier with each other. Kerr expressed a similar thought. I'm friends with international students because we can understand each other, said Care. With Americans, they'll just be friends with you for like 1 hour in class, and after you're not friends. And that's so different because when you talk to someone, I feel like it's the beginning of a friendship. Although the issues of limited English and maintaining friendships outside of class seem to be common and reoccurring issues, all 3 students said they have had a good time in the U.S. and enjoy exploring American culture. His suggestion to international students is to get out of their comfort zones and talk to American students, regardless of their English-speaking abilities. For students from the U.S., he recommends that they should listen and take their time to understand their international peers. Don't talk too fast, said Domps. Most of the international students, I guess, are scared they will bother you with their poor English. Make sure to help them to feel like they're at home because they're here to do their studies, but they're also here to enjoy life. For more stories like these, make sure to check out nwmissourinews.com or grab a paper from one of the boxes around campus. Now back to your Northwest News anchors, Skyler and Wiley.
Thank you, Hannah, and to the staff of the Northwest Missourian for providing us coverage on these stories.
Well, that's all the time we have for Northwest News. Be sure to go to the description below to rewatch certain sections of our show.
And be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for all the latest news and updates. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope to catch you here next week, every Sunday at 11. This has been Northwest News. Thank you for watching.